Welcome to the Fluffy Cow Studio. This is Deanna, and I want to thank you all for popping in, and I want you all to know that I appreciate you coming in. If you're returning, thank you so much for your support and for keep coming in. And if you want to hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit it. Also, for those who are new, welcome. I am going to start with this. I took a little MDF board truck from the Dollar Tree, and then I took a block of wood and I traced this um, truck on, but I made it so it was um, taller, so that the it didn't have the truck bed. It had a we're making an ice cream truck, and so I wanted to make that truck bigger. So anyway, make it into an ice cream truck, not a cattle truck. So I took it outside then after I traced that on, and then I cut it with my jigsaw and also my Dremel. And I'll tell you what, it was a pain in the butt because jigsaws just don't do these kind of cuts very well. And I don't have a scroll saw, so however, if you're doing this at home and you don't want to use the saws, go ahead and just use a Dollar Tree truck like that and then just cut out some cardboard to make the back part of your truck. Okay, now I'm gonna go all over it with the white. It's acrylic white by Apple Barrel, and I'm just gonna paint the whole thing. I don't paint the tires, but I do the middle part, and I paint it all white, and I ended up doing about 3 coats of white on this. Um, and then after I do the white, I'll go over with black and do all of the tires as well. And I'm just using a little smaller brush here to get in between the fenders and things. And it's a little easier to draw the circle for the tires if I do it with a small brush. And now I'm just going to go in and go around the tires. Now, if you don't want to do this part and you just want to do the side, you can just do the side and leave the rest white. That's fine, but I'm going to go ahead and paint because I overdo everything. So I'm going to paint the tires all black underneath and everything. And I do that for all 4 tires. And then at Hobby Lobby, they had a sale on their spring stuff, and I got these ice cream things for pretty cheap. These little wooden ice cream um, decor things, and I'm just going to paint them. I'm painting that with chocolate bar brown from acrylic, it's acrylic paint from Apple Barrel, and I'm just painting that um, little ice cream. And I do about 2 or 3 coats of this as well. And then I don't know if I showed this now or if it's after it dries. Oh, I was trying to put some of the nutmeg in the middle of it, but I didn't like it to kind of make it a little, I didn't like it. So I ended up going back over it um, with the chocolate bar. And then I take some black, but I'm not doing that yet. I didn't know for sure if I had done it yet. It looks like I kind of did. And I just kind of did a little bit of shading at the bottom. Okay, now I'm taking, after that gets good and dry, I'm going to take the paint and I'm going to take the pink paint and I'm going to paint it like the coating is dripping, kind of. So I'm going to paint the end of that with pink paint, and it's Paradise Pink. And I'm just making it look like it is dripping down the, it's been dipped in and trickling down. Now I printed up this from the internet. I think it was from Pinterest, and I am going to Mod Podge. I'm going to cut out the size I need, and then I'm going to, cut out my tires and things, and then I'm going to Mod Podge it onto my little truck, and I'm just making sure all of the little things are done, and I do that on both sides. And then I had a little card that said ice cream on it with a little picture of some ice cream. And I Mod Podged that on and then Mod Podged over the top of everything. And then I am taking, and I did paint the middles of those tires pink with the Paradise Pink. And now I'm going over this uh, thing with the Paradise Pink again, the little ice cream, because with the brown underneath it, it needed a few coats. So I did do that. Now I'm taking my black, a little bit of black, acrylic black, and I'm going to paint the lines for the doors and the windows. And this became a little bit darker than I wanted it to be. And so it was kind of popping out a little too much. So I ended up doing a little bit of changes. But right now I'm adding a little bit of gray to the windows and just kind of um, making it look so it's kind of misty or kind of you can see in there, but whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. Then I add a little doorknob and I do a little shadowing underneath the doorknob, and then along the bottom of the door I put some gray for like a step or something. Then I'm going to do the bumpers as well. I'm going to paint them gray as well. Then I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to, now this side, the other side I kind of carved the door and thing, and I wished I wouldn't have done that. But on this side, on the other side, I just drew them on. And now I'm taking some, what is that called? Oh my heck, my brain is like, I think it's been fried. Um, I'm taking some pipe cleaner, and it's a bright pink, and it looked okay, but I didn't like it too well. It was just a little bit too bright. So I did glue it. I just took it and did a circle and went around and did the middle there. And then after I got through with that, then I went over it with a little bit of white, but it had a little bit of paint with a little bit of white paint. And then I went over it with a little bit more of that Prussian pink, and then it turned out just fine. But so now I'm going to finish painting the door and stuff on this side. I thought I cut this part out, but apparently I didn't. So I just drew the door. And I also put a little headlight in the top there. And okay, now I'm taking some black paint and I'm going under the little pink, and I am making it look like there's a little shadow under there. So I'm just kind of floating the paint underneath. I'm just getting it kind of real moist, real wet, and then just floating it down. Now here I'm drawing. I don't know why I don't know why I stopped and did the and whatever, but then I did a little door handle and put a little shadow under it, and I did a little headlight there on the corner. Now see, this is a little bit more than I liked, so I thought it was too bright, so I took some antique white and went over it. And then I thought, well, you know what, it's still a little bit too harsh, and I did go over those black lines and I just covered everything. Not really, I just dry brushed over everything. I didn't do a really good paint job. I just dry brushed over everything. Kind of sloppy painted, I guess is what you'd say. And I do that on both sides. I do it up over the top, up around the bottom, the back side, everything. I just kind of go over it with that antique white so it's not quite so bright. And then I take some nutmeg from Apple Barrel and I'm going to go in those little cracks along the door, make it look a little bit like rust, like it's an old truck. It's been used a lot. And so making it look like it has a little bit of rust on it and toning down some of that black and just going around it. I'm wiping, the excess off, and if I get too much, I'm wiping it off. And then I'm just going around different areas, like around the doors to make it look like it's rusty and around the windows and stuff. And I'll show you the finished project of that in just a moment. Now I am going to take, this is a little, one of those planters. They're paper planters, and I used it for another project, had some left over. And so I'm going to paint this in tangerine cream, and I'm dabbing it on. I'm dabbing it all over the ice cream cone. Well, we're making an ice cream cone, but we're just doing it over the pot or the cone. And then I'm going to take some antique white and just do the same thing. I'm going to tap it all around. But I'm just doing it, I want to make sure I'm leaving a lot of that tangerine to poke out. I'm just doing it, to give it some depth and to make it look a little more like an ice cream cone. Now I'm painting, I had this, is a partial from another project I did. I had cut a piece of a styrofoam ball off, and I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to paint it with the Paradise Pink. And I'm also have another ball that I'm going to take. It's about a 3-inch ball, styrofoam ball, and I paint that pink as well. And I'm letting them dry. Then I'm going to go over that thing with the antique white. And now I'm going over the ice cream. I'm just kind of dabbing. I'm just tapping, tap, 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 tap on the that round ice cream, the ice cream that's gonna go on. Then I hot glue it on, and I used my hot glue gun, and I really should have used my cooler one because this just kind of melted, but it did work. But if you have a cooler hot glue gun, I'd use the cooler one. And then I'm going to glue this on, and I cut just a little bit of the bottom off, just a little bit, so it will fit flat. And then I glue that on, and then I'm going to take, I don't know why I didn't do this before, but I'm taking my sandpaper. I decided I didn't like the sharp lines of that, so I'm just rounding the edges of that bottom styrofoam. And I'm just taking a piece of sandpaper and I'm just going along the edges there, and it's really easy to do and really quick, but it just kind of rounded it off and made it look a little bit better than the stark lines. So, and I'm just doing that, and I'm not caring if it's perfectly even all the way around, because sometimes ice cream scoops don't necessarily be perfectly even around the ice cream cones. So I'm just kind of doing that, just shaping it up a little bit. Then I go over it with pink again, with the Paradise Pink, and I shave just a little teeny tiny bit off of that off of the top of that ice cream cone. And I'm just doing, now I'm taking the white and going over, dabbing over the top of the pink. Right here I'm just cutting out some little drops. I'm going to make some little ice cream drops, so I'm just doing some little teardrop shapes. Then I end up painting them, and then I glue them on to that ice cream cone. Still painting them with the pink, the Paradise Pink. And then I'm taking, and I'm only going to do just a little bit I'm to show you, but I'm taking and cutting a thin strip of foam, craft foam, and then I'm just cutting little teeny tiny, very small, thin little pieces to make some sprinkles. I just take maybe like a quarter half inch strip of that foam, just cutting it in little teeny tiny, very thin little pieces to make my sprinkles. And then after I get through doing this, I am going to take some more of that chocolate brown, chocolate bar brown, and I'm going to make a little, like it's a dipped cone with some chocolate coming down the top of it, like we did our little ice cream on for our ice cream truck, with the pink, but we're going to do it with the chocolate now, with the brown. And I'm going to do two coats of that brown. And while I am painting this, I'm going to tell you this because I didn't show this part. I had so many people coming in and out yesterday or when I did this that I was unable to, you know, I forgot to turn my camera on when I turned it off because I'd turn it off when they came and then I'd have to turn it back on and I forgot. But I'm just right now gluing those little drips on, but is what I do after I get that little chocolate painted on. I will take a little styrofoam ball, about 3/4 of an inch if that, and then I take those foam curlers and then I cut the curler in, I guess in half, and then I cut it in the half of that so that made two little pieces, and then I glued it on around that little what is it, the little styrofoam ball. Then I painted it white, then I glued it on with that Titebond glue, and then I Mod Podged and I put all my little sprinkles on the top. And that's my little ice cream cone. On the truck you can see that I had glued with the Titebond my ice cream on top of the truck. And this is our little ice cream truck. And I did put the little ice cream sign on the side of it with a couple little ice cream cones. And then I did, for the little cherry on top, I did a smaller ball, styrofoam ball, and I painted it red, bright red, and then I put it on top of my little whipped cream. And this is the final project. Want to thank you all for coming in and joining me today. I truly appreciate you. If you like this, hit the like button and please don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much.